Today's Daily Dose of Math is about drawing a three-dimensional object using Cavalier perspective. This is the third video in this series. At the end of the second video, we had produced this drawing, which is three different views of the same right prism, 4 by 2 by 3 centimeters. Each view has a different sized face on the bottom. There are actually 6 different ways of drawing this. When, for instance, we have the largest face on the bottom, like we do in this bottom right drawing, we can have the medium-sized face in the front facing us, but we could also have the smallest face in the front facing us. That means there are 6 different ways of drawing it. A right prism is a relatively simple shape, though. What about if we have a triangular prism? Let's move this out of the way, and we'll think about what happens when we draw a triangular prism. Here we have an object which is a sponge that has been cut to form a triangular prism. There are 2 triangular shaped sides which are congruent, and there are 2 rectangular shaped sides which are also congruent, and a third rectangular shaped side which is a little longer than the others. I have this piece of sponge arranged in one of the possible views that we would use when drawing a Cavalier perspective. This one has the front face that's facing us being one of the triangles. There are actually 7 different ways of drawing this. We have this position. We also can twirl it around so that the triangle has its right angle on the bottom left instead of the bottom right. And we get a Cavalier perspective that looks like this. We can also twirl it around so that this rectangular face is the one that's facing us. And we get a Cavalier perspective that looks a little bit more like this. All of these are with the smaller of the rectangles on the bottom. What if the bigger of the rectangles is on the bottom? There's only one way of arranging this so that the bigger rectangle is on the bottom, and that's what I'm showing right now. What about when the triangle is on the bottom? We can have a Cavalier perspective that looks something like this. We can also twirl it around and have it look something like this. And finally, we can twirl it around so that this longest rectangle is the front face. And we have a Cavalier perspective that looks like this. So I found 7 different ways of arranging this object that all will follow the rules of the Cavalier perspective. I'm going to go ahead and draw all of those, and in a future video, I'll show off my drawings. That is today's Daily Dose of Math. Please like, subscribe, and share.